All right. It's time for the BGA Cup 2022 press conference, shot by yours truly. Thank you for all of your questions, gentlemen. I hope I respond to all of them, all 14 of them promptly. The first question definitely comes from Lou. The question is, Cumtown or the Adam Friedland Show? Cumtown will forever be in my heart and always be the best comedy podcast there ever will be. But after the recent episode, the Adam Friedland Show is definitely coming through strong and definitely has the ability to come close to Cumtown, but it will never be there. Love them both just as much as if they were my own children. Second question is Jesus mad for me showing body parts? No. And if he is, I've already forgiven. I've already confessed. And he knows. I show body parts when I have to urinate. There was a time when we didn't have bathrooms, back when many of our famous men traveled the world spreading the word of Jesus, and I'm sure they didn't always use an indoor bathroom. Actually, probably never at all, I don't think. We'd have to go back to historical context for that. But who's to say when people pissed and shit? Sorry for swearing. Number 3, what hole is the toughest at Blackstone? I'm not one for remembering courses for one specific hole. Definitely not for remembering them by numbers. I just know that the best thing to do is to not do things that you're not capable of, or that you don't pull off 80% of the time. If you don't pull it off 80% of the time, don't do it. There's a few holes there. I'm not going to remember them by number. My cat and dog are playing with each other right now. Sophia, this is not the most opportune time for this, but it's cute. Yeah, come here. Yeah. Get your cookie. Go on. I wish I could remember specifically by hole. I also could have researched this before knowing that I was going to take this question. There's the one hole that everybody's debating about where it's a very, very long reach to get to the green in 2, depending on the tee you play on. And that hole, I played it on like the 3rd tees. I hit a 5-iron, and getting to the green was fine. Driving from there kind of forces you to use your driver. For me personally, I'm going to hate that hole. Coming down, the fairway kind of steers left for no reason at all, because it actually takes you away from the hole if you get more distance. The forced carry is going to come into play a lot there, and really the forced carry, once the fairway starts going left, it's not really going to matter to most guys. Logan and them, they could easily hit the ball straight and go into the water. So that hole I don't hate. I appreciate the challenge. A lot of people hate that hole. I would hate that hole if you didn't know what you were getting going into it, but I would definitely look into that. I actually really just like that course a lot. It's just different. And I think when people play courses that are different and they can't just compute it and be like, okay, well, this one's a little bunker heavy, this green is really guarded, they don't really understand what the challenge is to the hole, they tend to hate it. I grew to love that course the more I played it and the more challenging it became. But I think I could play that course and shoot low 80s and then the next day shoot 100. So it's just going to have to be about knowing what you're capable of and willing to let the course kind of bend your parameters within that. So you can't really beat that course. If you try to, it's going to beat you. So you just got to go hole by hole on this course more than any other. I don't like to hate a hole. I only like to hate hole courses, and there's only one course that I hate, and everybody knows what course that is. Mostly because as a left-hander, it doesn't make any sense to even like literally walk on the property at that shithole. How does it feel to be the only lefty? I actually never thought about it before this question was posed. I like it. I don't really think it means anything, but I wish I had a lefty comrade so that we could both hate the one course I'm talking about together at the same time, because that course fucking sucks. Best case scenario BGA Cup is we win. I've never been this confident in a BGA Cup. It's still young, and I was confident last year, but I was way less confident than I am now after knowing what our guys are up to and where we're at. I think even if one of us got severely injured and pulled what I did last year, which was completely just get the shanks and not remember your swing, I think we'd still come out on top. I really do. I think in every matchup, especially with the two groups, in the even the four ball or anything else, if one guy just can't figure out his swing, whoever's playing with him, I'm pretty confident is going to pick up the slack in that case. And I think it's going to happen over those 2 days. It would be arrogant for me to say that we all got our game dialed in and that we just have it all figured out, because we don't. But I think our guys have been working really hard to know that when they mess something up, they know how to kind of clean up that mess and not prolong the issues that may just make you unplayable, as we saw with me at BGA Cup last year. But yeah, best case scenario, we win. I think we could clean house. I really do. I'm not being overconfident with that. Maybe a little bit just because my game has changed a lot. I've been able to form a lot of good habits. And I know Gark is going to make a lot of great shots, and Riley and Steve are all going to make really good shots. We're also all going to make really bad shots, but I think we all have the ability to really come through in the clutch. None of us have a game that is so weak that it's never going to show up. Like, none of us are tough, horrible putters or horrible short game. It's just going to kind of vary, and hopefully our weaknesses kind of match up well with everybody else's strengths and pulls us through to that. And I'm quite confident that our weaknesses are much stronger than the blue team's weaknesses. I don't even know if they're out playing golf right now, to be honest. It's kind of sad. Are you still happy Strands is dead? Haven't thought about him in a long time, and life is really good. Obviously. We cut that? No, I haven't thought about him, so I'm not happy he's dead. Went back and played Tobacco Road again recently, and I love the course, but I'm glad he's dead. I think he lived a good, fulfilling life, and he lived as long as God intended for him to. And that's all there is to it. That's what I mean by saying I'm happy he's dead. I think he did what he was supposed to do, and that was make a golf course that pisses everybody off. Because I hate when people hate golf courses, except for that one golf course. Fuck that golf course. I will forever hate that golf course. Will you sleep naked next to the cup? Time will tell. Time will tell. I never thought about that. I think I would rather have it up on my trophy shelf next to my not college diploma and associate's degree from Columbia, or from College DuPage. I did not graduate from Columbia. And my high school diploma that I never picked up after I got it. So the trophy shelf's a little empty. I got one major, and I'd like to put a BGA Cup there for sure. If you were gay, would you be interested in Logan? Yeah, I think so. 51 weeks out of the year, I'd say yes. This week, yes. Next week, no. They do say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And if you ever watched Mr. Robot, this character, Tyrell, wanted to get information on a guy. So he wasn't gay, he was married and had a newborn son, but he decided to fuck the guy in order to steal some of his information and I think hack his company. And I respect that. And I've kind of just outed myself in terms of doing that, but I don't think Logan has any information none of us already know about. So I'm not too worried about turning gay to win the BGA Cup. I think we'll just take care of things out there next week. Let's see, number 9. How much pressure do you feel? I honestly would not feel any pressure if it weren't for the BGA Cup last year. Yeah, I know. We don't talk about that around here anymore. I know, we don't talk about that anymore, Momo. Last year, like, you do kind of really just assume that you're going to remember your swing, and if you lose it, you get it back. I've been doing a lot more work this year and creating a lot of good habits that I'm about 98% sure that I'm not just going to lose my swing. I've been swinging a golf club like 200 times a day every day, and I've gotten a lot of the muscle memory down, so even if I'm going a little bit left, a little bit right, I'm in a good place, and I'm hitting the ball square. I'm not shanking or doing anything like that. I know, Mama, I promise you, we're going to win this year. Okay, I'll bring the trophy home, and you can eat whatever it is you eat out of it. I promise. Are you hiding? It's okay. Kobe, come here. Sit. Thank you. Can Dad finish this press conference?
All right, Titleist is going to be very unhappy if we don't do this right.
So with what happened last year at Schaumburg, that's not going to happen again, and I'm quite confident about that. But it is hard to not get that out of your mind that there is a possibility for any of us. And I just want to make sure that doesn't happen, because I think if I play mediocre golf, our team is going to be just fine. I am not carrying this team, so I don't really feel the pressure of having to carry it. As long as Gart's got his Vicodin and CBD, and everybody else kind of keeps, a cool head. Steve is known for being a cool head under pressure. He just took me down at the BGA Open Cup a couple weeks ago. You saw how he handles pressure better than I do. Obviously, started making a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of things to think of, and so when it comes to pressure, I don't have all the pressure. So I think as long as we do this as a team, we're gonna be just fine. When's the last time I had sex? I don't remember. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I'm crossing my legs right now to contain all of the amount of cum and testosterone in here I'm trying to use next week. So if I just open my legs here, they'll just fucking slam on the floor, and my manhood is exposed. Next question, please. Does 0-3 weigh heavy? Does 0-3 weigh heavy on your mind? I don't really count the first one, but maybe that's why I don't think of the other two. I honestly don't think of any of the BGA Cups other than last year. If I win this, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, well, I'm 1-3. I finally fucking won the BGA Cup. I want to say that. I want to win it so I can say we did it. I think I like the road that the black team is taking there rather than just winning it every year. I think it's kind of boring. And kind of feeling like we've had our backs against the wall this whole time excites me. And I'm really excited to prove everybody wrong. I hope it's close, but I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a party. The only mistake we can make is just beat the blue team into the ground so bad that we end up partying and drinking too much and then really fucking everything up the next day, and I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to get a good night's sleep in Lou and Steve's room, and we're going to sleep peacefully, as long as Lou's not like pulling fire alarms like an NFL training camp, what they did with the Patriots. I think we'll be okay. Otherwise, I'll just get my own hotel. That's how important this is to me. Do I blame God for bad shots? No, I thank God for the bad shots. And I'm blessed for the opportunity for the next one that comes after it. I thank God for my mistakes because He forgives me and allows me to grow in that. If I had perfect shots every time, golf would be boring. It's the climb. It's the climb. As a famous song by Miley Cyrus once said, it's the climb. That's what makes this so exciting. That's why we love golf. Number 13. Pick a player who will step up and one to crumble. Well, I have a hard time thinking that Lou isn't going to step up. I think Lou is going to go out there and tear it up. He's been playing his lights out lately, and he's got to be more than excited to go out there and show off what he's been doing over the last year. He's been smacking the ball left and right in his short game has gotten phenomenal. His putting, his patience with that has been amazing, and it's going to make a huge difference in the BGA Cup. I think the one thing that could level things the way they are now is Lou's performance. I think in order for the blue team to compete, Lou is going to turn the Jets on, and I honestly am almost certain that he will. On our side of things, I think our game isn't necessarily going to be about individual performance overall, just excelling. I think it's going to be a lot more about like in the moment key shots. Like every once in a while I might hit a decent drive and then Riley hits one that just goes 3 feet and then we get a birdie, stuff like that where like we hit shots where we're like, I remember that one. It may have come after a shank, but then it's the next one that matters, and I think that's going to be the big deal for us, and I think the guy who makes those kinds of shots is Steve. So for us, I think Steve is going to be the one that hits those shots that are jaw-dropping, that make a huge difference for us. The player who will crumble, I don't know, I guess that's based on expectations. I don't really see anybody crumbling or doing worse than what we expect. I could see Kevin starting off really hot and then crumbling, maybe. I think he has more potential for that than anybody, no offense, Kev. But for somebody who has had, little glimpses of light and like playing really well, it's also easier to kind of lose your mental when that starts to slip a little bit, whereas there's some guys who've been playing so much that it's easy for them to get back to their ways when they've kind of lost it for a second. So if anyone had to crumble, my money would be on Kevin, whatever the definition of that is. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Lou does and what Steve does this time around, because this time compared to last year, they have been by far the most improved players on this tour, and it's really exciting to see because it's kind of leveled the playing field a lot. Score predictions, I've kind of mentioned that throughout. Black team's going to win. I mean, that's just the way it is. Black team, where's the Nike logo right there? Sponsored by Nike, Titleist, and TaylorMade. You can't beat those brands. Brand loyal to the death. They have helped me through the last few months of this vigorous training at 5 Iron, sponsored by 5 Iron. And I'm excited to show off what the Black team has to offer and how much work we put into it. It's almost embarrassing how much work we put into this. If I was married, I'd probably be getting a divorce right now for how much time I've been spending on this. I'm very blessed and lucky that my girlfriend has been gone for 6 weeks. Otherwise, my performance would not be what it is right now. So, looking forward to that. There's more questions. One more. Which format excites you the most? I don't know. I always like Chapman. I like 4-ball because I'm in control of my own game, but the thing about Chapman is if you hit a bad shot, you're kind of off the hook and relying on your buddy. You pick them up, they pick you up, and it's more of like a team celebration. I think that's sick. But it's also hard not to think about the final matchup against Logan. I'm excited for Chapman and that, respectively, pretty much the same, depending on how ready I am to face that. I'm ready, but if he's playing his best, he's still going to have an advantage. So I'm excited to see how that turns out and how important it is at the end, depending on if it's close. But if it's close, talking about pressure, yeah, I definitely feel a lot of pressure going up against Logan at the end. But I'm quite confident in my abilities to really be in the hunt for that. So thank you, everybody, for your questions, and I'll see you guys on the Discord and shit. Good job, Colby.